Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream. And tomorrow, Chelsea head up to Molineux to take on Wolves in Frank Lampard's first game in charge as caretaker manager. Yes, you've heard that right. Frank Lampard back in charge of Chelsea again until the end of the season. Quite a turn up for the books. Big news over the last couple of days, but it's going to be interesting. How's it going to get on? What's he going to do? Who's he going to pick? Is he going to make any bold changes? Is he going to switch the formation up? What's going to happen? How do we think that we're going to get on? And for the third match in a row, we've got a third different person in charge. We've had Graham Potter against Villa, Bruno against Liverpool, and now we've got Frank Lampard in charge as well. And Kante's last four appearances for Chelsea have been under four different managers. One against two, one with Tuchel, one under Potter, one. Oh, he didn't play under Potter at all. No, he did. Tuchel, Potter, Bruno, and possibly Lampard. So if Kante plays tomorrow, it'll be his fourth match for Chelsea with a fourth different manager. Quite some fat there. But yeah, guys, loads to get into tonight. So, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel. And also, guys, if you want to check out the Wolves side of things, head over to the channel and check out my week preview with Dave from Talking Wolves to get the Wolves perspective. It's a great video, so make sure you head over there, check it out, and smash a like. But guys, how are we feeling? Big up everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And if you're feeling good and you're in the Easter spirit, you can donate via the super chat function as well. Hi, Daniel. Good to have you on board. Hello, Vatican. Great to have you here. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. MC, big up. I think Lampard will pick Mount tomorrow. We'll get into that shortly, mate. Possibility. I'm not so sure. I don't think this is quite as clear cut as people are making it out to be. But yeah, guys in the chat, let me know how you're feeling about Lampard's return. What are your thoughts? Are we going to get the win tomorrow? Make sure you have a vote in the poll as well, so that we can see what is happening there. Make sure you obviously put your thoughts in there on the match result. Ironically, the last time we beat Wolves away was when Frank Lampard was in charge in 2020 with a 5-2 win now. Unfortunately, none of the goal scorers are still here. They made a hat-trick from Tammy Abraham, and Tomori scored an absolute screamer from outside the box. And I can't remember who scored the fifth, but, that's a good record there. And it's funny how Tuchel's first game in charge was against Wolves. Lampard's first game back in charge is also against Wolves. So let's see what happens there. But let's get into a few bits of news first, guys. And as you say, any questions, any talking points you want me to cover, just pop them in the chat as well. But let's get into a few things. And the first piece of news is because I've seen not a lot of people, but there are a few people that aren't particularly pleased that Frank Lampard's coming back. A few people that feel that, well, why haven't we gone and got someone straight away? Now, The Athletic reporting, and Simon Johnson, the Chelsea correspondent for The Athletic, and that Julian Nagelsmann does not want a new job until the summer. Now, that's quite understandable. He may feel that after his time at Bayern, he may need to take a little bit of time out of the game, reevaluate things. And by waiting until the summer for his perspective as well, other jobs may become available. We know that Chelsea's an attractive job and it's a top job, but let's make no mistake about it. It's not going to be the only big job that's available in the summer. You'd imagine the PSG job will be available with Christophe Gaultier under a lot of pressure. You'd imagine that the Real Madrid job is most likely to be available as well, with Carlo Ancelotti touted as a heavy favourite to take over the Brazilian national team job, or whatever other club jobs maybe pop up could tempt him. So from Nagelsmann's perspective, I understand why he would want to wait. It's a tricky little period to negotiate as well for a prospective new manager coming in. Last 10 or 11 games, could be 15 if, God forbid, we make it to the final of the Champions League in Istanbul. But, yes, the Real Madrid game is a tempter, but realistically, it's quite tough to get someone to take over now. I'm not sure if the club realised that it would be quite as difficult to get who they wanted in at this point in time. So, Nagelsmann, that's why we haven't got Nagelsmann now, because A, he doesn't want a job until the summer. And I think B, we want to make sure that he's 100% right. We want to speak to an array of people to make sure that we're making the right decision, because they've already come in, sacked Tuchel, appointed Potter, who they thought would be the right guy, but that's turned out to be a disaster and the wrong decision. So we really do have to do our due diligence here, put our trust in the football people, Winstanley, Vivell, Lawrence Stewart, who are going to be conducting most of the process, feeding their findings and their thoughts back to Bowley and Egbali, who ultimately do take the final decision, but with consultation from obviously the footballing department that's been put together beneath them. So Nagelsmann doesn't want to have a job till the summer, which is why we haven't appointed him now. And also why we haven't appointed him now, I'd imagine, is because we're not 100% sure yet, having not spoken to any other people other than Luis Enrique, who was in London on Wednesday, I think it was, maybe Thursday. Possibly Thursday, actually, he was in London. One of those two, anyway, regardless. They have met Enrique in person, haven't met Nagelsmann in person yet. I mean, the list is quite long. There's up to 7 names, potentially. The likes of Mauricio Pochettino on there, Ruben Amorim also on there. Outsiders like Oliver Glasner at Frankfurt. These are not necessarily guys that are going to get the job, but guys they want to sound out and guys that they want to speak to. So that's why Lampard's here now, because we're not able to get in who we wanted right now, and I'm not sure why people can't understand that. And the next alternative was that who can you get in at short notice that would do a job until the end of the season? No top manager is going to take that job until the end of the season. So you turn to a club legend that's available, that knows the club inside out, that's managed here before. In a crazy way, it makes perfect sense. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not saying, the results are suddenly going to improve, but at least if we're going to be shit, we're going to be vibing and enjoying the journey as much as we can with a club legend in charge. So let's see what happens. But that's why we are where we are, because they want to take their time conducting the process. They want to get the right guy, and ultimately the candidates don't want to take the job until the summer. And I do feel that if Chelsea was set on Luis Enrique, then they would have appointed him now, because he would have taken the job right now. He's been out of management since the World Cup, since after the World Cup, sorry. And he'd be ready to take the job now. I'm not saying it's not going to be Enrique at the end of this process, but they want to do the process to make sure that they get the right guy. And ultimately, it might end up them coming full circle and going with the guys, Enrique or Nagelsmann, that they spoke to right at the start. But it's important that we do our due diligence, because it's the same people that would say, oh, why haven't we appointed someone now? That would say, if we did appoint someone now and it didn't go so well, oh, why didn't we wait? So I'd much rather us wait and get this right. And bringing Frank Lampard in is the best solution to a difficult problem. So let's wait and see how he does. I mean, Frank's temporary. He knows the drill. He's here to the end of the season, and no further than that. I mean, just on that though, I mean, I see people getting a little bit worried because they feel, oh, would they consider Frank Lampard for the permanent job? That is very, very unlikely, virtually zero chance. Although you can't say 100% absolutely no chance, because you just never know we never know if Chelsea. But David Ornstein saying on Sky Sports that Lampard may come into consideration. That's the really key phrase there, may, if he excels. But the focus is on until the end of the season. Chelsea will continue to talk to the Julian Nagelsmanns, Luis Enrique's and Mauricio Pochettino's of this world. Todd Bowley and Begdad Egbali are ultimately making the decisions. Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart will feed information into them. So people that are kind of getting a little bit concerned that Frank Lampard could end up being in full charge next season, that's very unlikely. As David Ornstein's saying, he'd have to excel until the end of the season. That probably means winning the vast majority of the games and probably getting to the Champions League final, if not winning it. So let's be real. It's very, very unlikely. So I think we can kind of relax a little bit on that one, and trust that, we're going to get the right guy in for the job. Ultimately, I've got my preference. I go with Julian Nagelsmann, but I trust the people in the process that know what they're doing, know a lot more about football than me, that are having the conversations, that are meeting these people, that they will pick the right people, the right person for the club. Let's not forget that when Graham Potter was appointed, this structure, this hierarchy below wasn't in place. So we should be better positioned now with the hierarchy and the structure in place to make a better decision on a new manager and make sure that we absolutely get it right. Let me get to a few things in the chat now then, guys. Can we get 40 points tomorrow in the league? Yeah, one more point. Avoid defeat, and we finally reached 40 points, and we're safe for another season in the Premier League. Lampard needs to personally show the squad how to strike the ball and toughen up our midfielders. Look, to be fair, I think the midfield's improved a little bit. The return of N'Golo Kante has been absolutely massive. And I think with Kova, Enzo, Kante, two of those three, or all three, if we go with a three-man midfield, we're pretty solid for the rest of the season. Look, it's not 100% functionable or functioning properly, but it's a lot better than it was. And Kante being back fit again is a massive plus. But yeah, hopefully Lampard can, get us scoring a few more goals. When he was here before, yes, a lot of things are different. A vast majority of the squad is also different, but we did score a lot of goals under Lampard. Obviously, we also let quite a few in. So let's see if he can keep that defensive solidity whilst getting us to be a bit more free scoring at the other end of the pitch. But it's going to be really interesting to see what he does. But yeah, let's hope he can kind of improve on the players' confidence, improve on their finishing ability as well. Agreed on that 100%. Peslord, big up, bro. I think Sterling coming back will sort the goals out. Well, I mean, Sterling's not been prolific for us at all. Yes, he's got a lot of goals at Manchester City, but they created a lot of chances as well. We don't create anywhere near as many chances. Sterling's never been clinical. His finishing's probably arguably been one of the worst aspects of his game. But because he got so many chances at City, it didn't matter if he missed two because he probably stuck the third one away. At Chelsea, you might not even get three chances. So, yeah, look, Sterling, I think, can be a big player for us for sure, but it's been a difficult first season for him. Let's hope maybe under Lampard he can get a bit more of a run on the side, get himself fit again, which he seems to be now. And maybe the goals will come, but I don't think we should be hanging our hat on Sterling to be providing us with a lot of goals, if I'm being totally honest with that one. What is Lampard's job? Again, without being privy to the conversations, absolutely no idea. Pretty sure it seems to me, come in, do the best you can for the rest of the season, shake hands, thank you very much, on your way. He knows that this is just a caretaker job to the end of the season, but he'll also be looking at it and thinking, if I do well, then I can at least put myself in the conversation to give them a decision to make. And when they say when they say consider, consider doesn't mean do. How many times a day do we consider things? I consider, I might do this, but you don't do it. So do you know what I mean? Like, just because he may be in consideration, if he does really well, by no accounts equates to, oh my God, he's going to get the job permanently. But for Lampard, it's a win-win. He gets himself back in the spotlight in a massive job. And if he does well, then he can enhance his prospects of getting a Premier League job for next season, whether that's Crystal Palace, whether it's West Ham, whether it's Leicester. He does well here. He puts himself right back in the shop window when his reputation's pretty low as a coach, having had a poor spell with Everton. I would wait until the end of the season. Yeah, agreed. If you do end up getting something cheap, let me know. I don't really understand that. I end up getting something cheap. Don't know what that means. I see Frank as a temporary caretaker for a couple of months. After that, it depends on his results. Well, he's just a caretaker to the end of the season. But as has been said, results would have to be, he'd have to excel, which eventually means pretty much lose maybe only a couple of games we've got left and at least Champions League final, in my opinion. So this is all very, very unlikely for sure. There are only two possibilities. Board like Enrique and Nagelsmann, but they want to start in summer, or Board is not 100%. I think both there's aspects of those can both be true. They definitely like Enrique. They definitely like Nagelsmann. But I also feel they may not be 100% convinced on them yet, because they probably want to speak to them again. They've not met Nagelsmann in person yet, and they'll want to speak to other candidates as well, just to do their due diligence and just to make sure that the right decision is ultimately being made at the end of the day. I'm still expecting WTF for the manager. No, I wouldn't. Yes, with these owners, you never know, and I wouldn't rule out Ruben Amorim at Sporting as a decent potential. I think he's got more of a chance of getting the job than, say, a Pochettino does. But I think as it stands right now, it appears to be between Enrique and Nagelsmann. They definitely seem to be the two front runners. Obviously, they've not spoken to anyone else yet. But I think the sooner we can get this done, the better. But we don't want to rush it. We don't want to rush it either. That's the key thing here. Take your time, get the decision right, because I know hindsight's a great thing, but we've already wasted, in essence, 7 months of the project with Graham Potter in charge. I know I was a big advocate for Potter and I wanted him to do really well, but the reality of the situation is that in 7 months since he's been here, we've really gone nowhere. Yes, we've added great players to the squad and whatnot, but in terms of actual progress on the pitch, we haven't gone anywhere in 7 months. So it's really important that we hit the ground running and get this appointment spot on. Out of context, but would you make Felix permanent? Yes, if the price is right. £80 million is an absolute limit for me. Anything more than that is a no, unfortunately. You can tell the quality that Felix has got. He's, you only have to watch him to know that the skill he possesses, the talent he's got. And he has, despite a lack of end product and not as many goals as we would have liked or as he would have liked, he has done really well. He's intelligent. The way that he, picks up space in between the lines, the way that he's quick with his quick feet, he's great with the ball in tight spaces. Just needs to improve that end product a little bit. But he's still a young kid. I think he's 22, 23 years of age. Loads of potential there. So yes, I would make it permanent, but on the proviso that a deal doesn't cost more than 80 million, because I think then it is getting a bit silly. Yes, Theo, big up, mate. Will Lampard switch back to a back four? Look, there's a lot of chat about this, and I feel that like a lot's changed since his first spell. I know it was only a couple of years ago, but a lot's changed. Personnel's changed. We've obviously changed to predominantly playing with a back three under Tuchel, back three for large amounts of Potter's reign. I think with the Madrid game coming up so close, I don't really think this is a time to be tinkering with the formation. And I think with what we've got, we know the back three suits us best. We haven't got a good enough holding midfield player to do that. I mean, so I would say no to begin with, no. But who's to say if we were to get knocked out by Madrid that he wouldn't maybe try and do something a little bit different potentially? But I think for this game against Wolves, he's had such little time to do anything that I think a change of formation from what has kind of been working would not be wise on his behalf. But you never know. I'm fully prepared for when a team news drop for it to be something rogue and there to be a few things that were just like, well, what the hell's going on here? But yeah, I answer to your question, mate. I think no, but never say never. We should try to look into all possible good candidates for Nagelsmann and Enrique to find. Yeah, of course. What do you think about River Plate? Marcelo Gallardo. Look, I don't know an awful lot about him. I know he's done a very good job at River Plate, but what I would say is he's been there for a number of years. If he was really that good, why is he still managing in South America? That would be my thing. He needs to go to a European league, maybe somewhere in Liga. I think he'd make a very good next PSG coach. Or he needs to go to a European league, and then he needs to take the next step before he goes to the Premier League, in my opinion, for someone that's only managed in South America, but with all respect, has done a very good job there. But I don't know enough about him, but I think he needs another step before coming for a top job in the Premier League. Lampard's job is to get a new gaffer's bounce. Yeah, well, it will be. It's to give a lift around the place, and it's certainly given a lift. It's galvanised the fan base. Regardless of if we're doing shit, that the fans will be behind Frank Lampard the whole time. So let's see what happens. Lampard job title, caretaker, manager. Caretaker and interim is the same thing, really. Not sure what people. Yeah, exactly that. Get dubs to get a streak going. Yeah, well, that's what we need, mate. We just need to pick up the wins. Just pick up the wins, pick up the points. Let's see how we get on. There would be no way unless Lampard wins the Champions League. Yeah, I agree on that. I think we will get Enrique or Nagelsmann. As I said, Nagelsmann for me. What's your view on Enrique without Barcelona? Obviously, we're going back a long time now, but Enrique, for starters, has not managed club football side for 6 years. Prior to that, it was at Roma where he didn't do very well. He did okay at Celta Vigo before then. But again, that we have to go back this far because that's what we've got to judge on him. And at Barcelona, it's really hard to judge someone's managerial ability when they've got one of the best sides of all time. They've got Messi, Suarez, and Neymar up front. So with all due respect, like most managers would be able to win with that front line and that Barcelona team. So it doesn't tell you an awful lot about a manager. Yes, you can obviously done very well with Barcelona, but I don't think it's an accurate reflection of how good you are the manager because it's a very, very unique set of circumstances. So I'm unconvinced on Enrique because outside of managing Barcelona, his club career has been pretty poor. And then with Spain, again, poor at the World Cup. Yes, they made the Euro semi-finals, but they had to go to penalties and extra time, I think, in all the rounds, all the knockout rounds. So again, didn't play good football. So look, he's clearly got ability and he's a good manager, but I'd have quite serious question marks over him, if I'm being honest. Long-term project seems to be almost impossible with fan base that has zero patience. I think that's another thing that we need to realize is that as fans, we have to realize that whilst the ambitions at Chelsea are always to win the trophies, have the best in class, have the best players, there's also no shame in realizing that we are not in a position to be at those ambitions yet. The ambitions haven't fallen. The standards haven't dropped. The standards are always the same at Chelsea. They always have been and they always will be. But, right now we're not in a position to be hitting those standards. We just got to be patient until we are. And it's really important that the fans are like this as well, because we're so used to winning and we're so used to the default reaction being get rid of the manager. We are going to have to realize and accept that, the new manager that comes in is going to lose some games. It's going to go for a tricky run. We can't then just call for him to go because he's not good enough. Otherwise, we're never going to go anywhere. And we're just constantly going to go round and round in this circle and get no closer to challenging for the Premier League, which is ultimately what we need to do. And it's ultimately, we've been nowhere near since we won it under Conte. So we're going to have to accept that we are going to go through some challenging periods and some difficult times under the new manager. And we just have to stick with it. And we just have to accept that this is going to happen. Because that's the reality of the situation. Yes, Deals, big up. No matter what, win, draw, lose, Lampard will be back till the end. All the players looked boosted. Yeah, they do look boosted, but it's not about what they do in training. It's about what happens on the pitch. So let's see if that kind of feel-good mood and the happiness around the camp can transfer to the pitch. Let's wait and see. You're scared of Enrique. I'm not scared, but I just don't think it's the right choice in my opinion. I think they've bought Lampard so that the toxicity is cut down. Look, what they've done is by bringing Lampard in, not only is it a smart choice in terms of, he knows the club inside out. And if you're going to get someone into the end of the season, you need someone that knows the club. And so that works very well. He's a legend. He'll give a lift around the place, he'll give a lift to the players, a massive lift to the fans, will unite the fan base, get the fan base back on side after it being very toxic under Potter. So not only from a PR perspective, it's very good, but it's also good from a perspective of let's hope it can have kind of that desired effect. I think we all do. Nagelsmann done in Bundesliga where team play highline defending is optional. Not sure he'll do well against PL low block. Let's wait and see. Nagelsmann's very talented. I think he would be the perfect guy to lead this. Look, the challenges of the Premier League are obviously very different to the challenges of the Bundesliga, but let's not never say about it. Managers can adapt. Tuchel adapted. Let's kind of see where we are on that one. But Nagelsmann, I think would do a very good job in my opinion, for sure. I think he certainly would. But I mean, guys, how are we feeling about the game tomorrow? What are our thoughts? Because Wolves away is going to be a tricky one at this stage of the season. You never want to go somewhere where a team's got something to play for, particularly a team that's kind of only 3 points above the relegation zone, fighting for their lives. We want, that's going to be really tough, particularly away from home as well. Wolves are going to be bang up for it. So this is going to be a tricky game. They've got Diego Costa amongst their ranks. I think with Jimenez injured, there's a chance that Diego Costa could start. He's yet to score a goal for Wolves, so let's hope that Charity FC doesn't strike again and he finds the back of the net against us, which would be typical. But wherever you look, there's Chelsea links everywhere. There's Diego Costa, Frank Lampard's back, Ashley Cole's back. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. All eyes are going to be on this game now for different reasons. This is it, mate. White away kit, Lampard in charge. Oh, mate, if we could, I'd just be grateful for one goal because the last two games at Molineux have both been 0-0 and they've both been really shit games. So I'll bang that white away kit on tomorrow. I'll make the trip up to Molineux, dust off the Super Frank Lampard chance, and we just hope for the best and we see what happens. But ultimately, even if we don't get the result we want, we're still going to have a great time because we've got a legend back in charge. And ultimately, I think that's what it's about. Yes, we'll be disappointed making the trip back if we lose. But, if we're going to be shit and we're going to lose games, let's do it with a legend in charge. That's what I'm going to say. It's going to be one hell of a ride. It's going to be vibes tomorrow. The away end could be absolutely phenomenal. With Lampard back in charge. So let's see what happens. I'll get into the team news shortly on that. I think we can get the win tomorrow because Lampard may want to use a striker again. Look, there's been a lot of talk about this as well in terms of will Aubameyang come back in because there was because there was a picture of him smiling or whatever. Look, let's be real. Aubameyang's not played. Aubameyang came on against Tottenham as a sub for the last few minutes. Prior to that, I don't know when he last played, but he's barely played any football. So I think it's unrealistic to think that he could get chucked straight back into the lineup. I wouldn't say it's impossible because, of course, it's not. But from my personal opinion, I would suggest it would be unlikely. And people say, "Oh, but Lampard wanted Aubameyang." Yeah, when Aubameyang was in his prime, when he was decent. Aubameyang, let's be real, he's a bit washed now. Hasn't played for a while. Not scoring an awful lot of goals. He scored one Premier League goal for us. Yes, you can argue he's not actually played that much, but there's a reason why he's not played that much because he's not really good enough, if we're being brutally honest here. Yep, this is a fair point. The fact that Neves is suspended is a massive, massive plus for us. Massive plus. Yes, mate. Nice one. Mate, I'll be, should be at Brighton if you're there. If not, I'll be at Madrid. So, mate, if you wanna meet up or anything, I'll come say hi or whatever. Then let's get that sorted, mate. Let's get that sorted either before Brighton or before Madrid at home. If you're going to either of those games, mate, let me know. Lampard knows Wolves are going to try to park the bus. Thing is, I don't know if Wolves will park the bus. Yes, they won't want to lose, but they need the points as well. So it's going to be a tricky one. Wolves need the points. We need the points. I think it's important that we don't lose. And you tend to see with managers that they go with experience in their first games, experience, what they know, kind of tried and tested. But again, as I said, lots of people are different. Lots of players that were here under Lampard before aren't here now. Yes, you've still got Pulisic here. Yes, you've got Mount here. Yes, you've got Havertz here. Yes, you've got Thiago Silva. Yes, you've got Aspie. Yes, you've got Mendy and Ziyech and whatnot. But let's be real, those players aren't the players they were when Lampard was here. Some of them have fallen off a cliff. Others are still here and doing a good job. I think Wolves will go for it a little bit. Madrid are going to rotate heavily against Villarreal, though, and they already lost the league. So, yeah, look, I think there could be... It's a tricky one because I don't know if we're in a position to be heavily rotating. You know, we're playing Saturday and then we play Wednesday. So there is time. There's plenty of time to rest. You've got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You've got 3 days of resting. Yes, one of those days will be travel. But, you know, I think it's more than enough for us to go and play a reasonably strong lineup tomorrow and get off to a winning start. There's no point rotating just for the sake of it. You know, we need the win. He wants to hit the ground running and get the best result possible and get that first win on the board as soon as possible because winning breeds confidence. So we need to get a win ASAP. So tomorrow would be a good place to start. I mean, I think Aubameyang should be in the squad and he should get, you know, cameos from the bench. But in terms of starting, I would agree that he shouldn't start for us again. I do strongly believe that. Lampard was going to play against Wolves and didn't Tuchel play against them when he did. Yep. Tuchel's first game was against Wolves at Stamford Bridge, 0-0. So let's see what Lampard can do in his first one. Oba was hardly able to even run against Spurs. He was not good enough. That's why. Yeah, look, he's not good enough. He's not. Look, he's a goal scorer and he will finish chances. What I would say is that some of the chances we've created and have been missed, he wouldn't even be in a position to get those chances in the first place. He's very much a penalty box striker, a poacher now. And, you know, his link-up play is not good. His hold-up play is not good. His all-round game's poor. So yeah, it doesn't make sense for me. Yes, from the bench if we're looking for a goal, but ultimately to start and lead the line, I'd have to say no. Oba was a TT signing. He was, but what I would say is that rather than pinning this on TT, I'd pin this on the board because they signed Aubameyang. They sanctioned that signing for Tuchel, knowing full well they were going to sack him 3 days later. What was the point in that? What was the point in that? Do I think he should start? No. Do I think he will start? Yes. We definitely need the striker along with a DM. Agreed. But it's going to be interesting because Wolves got some decent players. As someone touched on in the chat earlier, Ruben Neves in midfield is missing, arguably their best player. That's going to be a huge blow for them. But the likes of Mateus Nunes is a very good midfield player. You know, going forward as well, decent. I mean, Mateus Cunha is good. The big money signing from Atletico Madrid, Podence, Neto. dangerous players. Adama Traore can cause damage from the bench. We're going to have to be 100% on it and have our wits about us to see where we're going to go with this one, because away form's not great. I mean, I don't know when we did pick up an away win fairly recently. Oh yeah, Leicester. That was our last away game. That at Leicester was our first away win since October. So hopefully the Midlands can be a happy hunting ground for us. Follow up an away win at Leicester with an away win at Wolves, but away wins have been few and far between for us this season. The fact that was our last time out against Leicester since October is quite a worry. We don't necessarily tend to travel that well, certainly not this season. So we're going to have to be bang on it. We're going to have to exploit. We're going to have to play to our strengths. Get our best players involved. Get the ball to Felix as much as possible. Get these guys involved. Make sure that Enzo and Kante or whoever it is can control in the midfield, and make sure we stay solid at the back. I just hope we don't lose our defensive solidity now that Lampard's come in. We know under Lampard previously that we weren't particularly good defensively. Even at Everton, I mean, obviously when he first came in, he kept them up, and they kept a few clean sheets towards the end. But this season, the start of this season was absolutely diabolical. Everton keeping next to no clean sheets, playing terrible football. Yes, Everton and Chelsea's a completely different situation, but let's hope that we don't suddenly lose our defensive solidity because Lampard's come in. Ashley Cole's going to be part of that probably defensive team, so hopefully he can make he can keep things solid there. And we've got great players, we've got a solid defense, so let's hope that can continue despite a change of manager. I wish that number 29 doesn't start up front tomorrow. It would be, but I expect it to happen. Our squad is overpowered compared to Wolves. Yeah, we should be winning. We should have been winning. If football was done on paper, we should have won a lot of our games, but it's not. So it depends what Chelsea's going to turn up. Let's see how we perform. The last time we beat Wolves away was Lampard when Mount Tomori. Yep, that was it. That was the last time. White away kit, Lampard in charge. Let's see if we can run it back. Let's see if we can run it back at this Easter Saturday. I hope we play better. Yeah, that's going to be a big kiss, because actually under Potter, the vast majority of first halves weren't that bad. We created a reasonable amount of opportunities, but we just couldn't take our chances, and that was the issue. And then in the summer, well, not the summer, sorry, in the second half, we just come out and we'd be absolutely non-existent. So the key really is can we come out and can we sustain the level of performance for not just the first half, but also for the second half, or the vast majority of the second half. That's going to be a real key, because we've just disappeared in the second half of football matches, and that's not good enough at this level. You cannot just disappear in the second half. You can't just turn up for 45 minutes of a 90-minute game and expect to pick up any decent results at all. We won't see Zakaria tomorrow. Zakaria did play a reasonable amount under Potter, but he picked up that injury at Fulham away when he was in really good form, and then has basically struggled to get back in the team since. I think we've literally only seen him at Spurs away at the end of February, and then since then we've not seen him. Not that I can recall. Do you think we should play our full squad? I think we should try and play as full a squad as possible. Madrid is on Wednesday, so we've got 3 days to recover, obviously, after it. So let's wait and see what happens on that one. But I think we should be going as full strength as we possibly can on this one, because we're not in a position to be taking liberties. We need points in the league. We're not in that position to be making luxury decisions here. Yes, the Madrid game is more important than Wolves, you could argue, but we don't want to be tumbling further down the table. And we do want to try and at least get into the top 7 for that Europa League football next season. So we're going to have to start picking up points in the league. And tomorrow represents the first chance to do that. So we've got to take it with both hands and play the best team available to us within reason. And we need to get some rhythm going as well. We're going to play our full strength side against Real Madrid. So I would expect tomorrow that the personnel and the system to reflect probably what we're going to see in Madrid, because it would make no sense to play something different in Madrid to what we've played against Wolves. And this is kind of the warm-up game for Madrid. So I'd expect a lot of things that we see tomorrow will potentially be a lot of the things that we see against Real Madrid as well. But, that's what I do. What Lampard's going to do is a totally different question. I'm fully expecting when a team news come out for there to be some things like, I wasn't expecting that, or what's the thinking behind that, or why is so-and-so playing there? But it remains to be seen what those are. But guys, seems like a good point to get into the lineup for tomorrow. as I said, Chelsea back in the white away kit for the first time in a while. But guys, starting lineup for tomorrow. Make sure you smash the likes on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And if you're feeling generous, you can donate via the super chat function. So make sure you do that. Would be greatly appreciated by myself. However much you are willing to donate to the channel would be massively appreciated, guys. What I'm going to do, something slightly different here, is instead of doing what I think the team's going to be, I think it could be a bit more fun. And I've got this from Lawrence's stream earlier when I was on there. So big up, Lawrence. Thanks for the idea, bro. Is that instead of doing a team that I'd like to see, we're gonna try and guess what Frank Lampard's team is going to be and see how close we can get to it. Now, the first big decision in goal, obviously, Kepa's been the number one. Mendy's not played for the longest time possible. Like, I don't think he's played. I can't remember the last time Mendy played for Chelsea. It'd be one of those games where I think it could be the last game before the World Cup. I think Mendy may have played away at Newcastle if Kepa was still injured. Kepa's come in. He's been the number one. Yes, he's made a few mistakes, but his level has massively increased. I can understand why people are saying, oh, is Mendy going to start? Because Lampard didn't rate Kepa or didn't fancy Kepa in his previous time, brought Mendy in, and Mendy did very well under Lampard and did subsequently carry that form under Thomas Tuchel. But one thing that I would say is that the situation is totally different now. When Lampard was last here, Kepa wasn't great and Mendy was good. Now Kepa's doing well and Mendy's fallen off a cliff. So the roles are completely reversed in that sense. So I think realistically Kepa's going to keep his place in the team. I'd be surprised if Lampard does start Mendy. I'd say that look, let's be real. Whoever starts this game will be starting Madrid. I think Lampard will pick Kepa. It's a massive call to make to come in, particularly only for 10 games at the end of the season and change the goalkeeper straight away when the goalkeeper this season has not been an issue, has not been why we've been so shit. So for me, I think Lampard does pick Kepa. I would be surprised if there was a change. So we're going to go Kepa in goal for sure. Just on that, I wouldn't say red flags because Mendy cost us the tie ultimately last time out against Madrid because of his howlers that he made at Stamford Bridge against Benzema. Mendy's been out for ages. I agree. I think Lampard will start Kepa, so I'm going with Kepa in goal. I'm not sure, to be honest, mate. I'm really not sure. Hopefully not too long now. Maybe for Brighton, maybe for the second leg. Excuse me. Maybe for the second leg of Madrid. Let's wait and see how that one kind of pans out. But I don't actually know when he's going to be back. In terms of a back three, we know that Lampard obviously went 4-3-3 during his time here before, but in his most recent managerial spell at Everton, he did play quite a lot of back threes. Not a manager that's totally adverse to a back three, but when you come in and you've got such little time to work with a group of players and to make any significant changes, I think it would make sense to stick with that back three because it served us well. I say served us well. It served us better than the back four has certainly this season. So I think stick with the back three. And for me, I think the back three that will be picked will be Wesley Fofana, Koulibaly in the middle because he's going to play against Real Madrid. And then this one is where I'm slightly unsure on what Lampard's going to do because Cucurella is probably going to have to play on. Well, he will have to play on Wednesday because Silva won't be fit for Wednesday. Badiashile can't play. Chalobah is one that could come in. That's an interesting one. I wonder if Frank will bring Chalobah in or not. I don't know. I would suspect not. Personally, but it's hard to tell. I mean, Chalobah's not played for an awful long time either, but I think Fofana definitely holds down that space there. Koulibaly to play in the centre. I think Lampard will stick with that to have an experienced head at the back, and I think he does go for Badiashile. And I'll tell you why I think that is because of his physical presence and his height in both boxes for not only attacking and defending set play. So I think we should definitely start Badiashile. Agreed on that one, considering he's not going to play on Wednesday either. But then you could flip that argument and say, surely the backline that plays tomorrow, you want to be a backline on Wednesday to get that continuity, get more used to playing with each other. So I can understand why maybe then you may well go with a Cucurella. But I don't know. It's really tough. I'm a bit unsure here. I'm a little bit unsure, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's go with. Fuck. I'm gonna stick with Badiashile, but I think it could easily also be Cucurella. But he can, as you say, he could come on as a sub. Let's look at this now. Then it's going to be Reece James at right wing back, for sure. No conversation needed there. And it's going to be Ben Chilwell. So we know how much Lampard likes James. We know how much Lampard likes Chilwell because he signed Chilwell during his time as manager, and he gave obviously James his first team debut. And you know, they've really pushed on since Lampard was at the club. So yeah, Chilwell and James, and they're going to be massively important because they're going to have to get forward, provide width, balls into the box. They're going to be an attacking presence, get on the end of chances if they can. We saw Chilwell have a goal ruled out against Villa. We saw James have a goal ruled out against Liverpool last time out. So let's hope that maybe one of these guys can score tomorrow and it won't be fucking ruled out. That would be ideal. But yeah, James and Chilwell makes the most sense in those two positions there. Again, one thing you could argue is that last time out in the Bernabeu under Tuchel, Reece James played right centre back to combat Vinicius Jr. Would it therefore make sense to play Reece at right centre-back tomorrow if that's what's going to happen in Madrid? I'm not really sure. I don't even know if that is going to happen in Madrid. Now that we've got Wesley Fofana, do we really need to play Reece James at right centre-back to combat Vinicius? I'm not so sure we do. That's the big change. And then Ben Chilwell's been in superb form since returning from that hamstring injury, and his form has coincided with a switch back to the back three, which he looks a lot more comfortable in than a back four. So yeah, we'll go Chile and James. I think Lampard will pick there. For sure in the midfield, Enzo Fernandez is definitely going to play. There's no doubt about it. And I was surprised when I got to Stamford Bridge on Tuesday night that N'Golo Kante was in the starting lineup, his first start since August, having only played about 20 minutes in the previous game against Everton. I think he came on against Everton. Did he come on it? No, against Villa, sorry. Coming on the previous game against Villa, only having 20 minutes and then starting and playing 70 unbelievable minutes against Liverpool. I wasn't expecting that, but I think it's clear that Kante is fit to start, he's fit to play. So I suspect that he probably will play. I think that's what's going to happen. I suspect he probably will play Kante tomorrow. So I'm going to go with Kante. But if Lampard does switch the system and he goes 3-5-2 or whatever, then obviously Kovacic will come in. But if Kante's fit, which he is, how can you not play him? Lampard was there on Tuesday night. He would have seen with his own eyes how good that performance was, considering how long Kante's been out for. So, yeah, Enzo and Kante in the middle there. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Kante created more chances than Felix. He needs more game time to get full fitness before Madrid. Yeah, he does need more game time. He'll play. He'll definitely play. But I think it's important we manage his minutes. I've personally felt, I know he was playing so well on Tuesday night, but give it, I didn't think 70 minutes. I think we could have given him 60 minutes. I mean, you could argue what difference does 10 minutes really make. And Kante seems to be superhuman, particularly Ramadan Kante as well, which is a bit of a different beast. Kante's minutes, manager's minutes tomorrow. Yeah, I look, again, depending on what the result is at this point in time. To be honest, even regardless of the result, I think it should be agreed that Kante plays an hour and then he comes off, because then, you know, that's a good chunk of minutes that we've built him up for. And he should be ready to start in the Bernabeu and give us at least 70 or 80 minutes there. So yeah, I agree that Kante's minutes do need to be managed, but if he's fit, then he has to start after that performance. For sure. Front three then. This is where it gets interesting because for me personally, Mason Mount's played no football since he came off the bench against Tottenham at the end of February. He's not going to be chucked straight back into the lineup. I know a lot of people think he is. I just don't think he is, considering he's not played since February against Tottenham. And people say, oh yeah, he's fit. He's back in training. Well, yeah, he's back in training, but he's not match fit, is he? I'd be surprised if he started. I think we'll definitely see him from the bench. Again, I could be totally wrong, but this is what I think will happen: is that Mount will be on the bench. Wolves will sit back. Mount and Pulisic connected last game and should start. Mount didn't play in the last game. I don't know if you mean the last time against Wolves. I'm not really too sure, but Mount and Pulisic didn't play in the last game. Did Burnley beat Middlesbrough then? Yeah, Martson again. People go on about Martson. Good players, done well. I think if he can go on loan to Burnley for another season, then we can maybe reassess. Yes, KSA man, big up, bro. You think Aubameyang will start? I don't. And I'll get onto that shortly. But I think let's start with one position that I think will be kind of easy to pick, or I say easy to pick. We're going to go with Mykhailo Mudryk on this left-hand side. Now, Mudryk started against Liverpool. He's been in and out of the side. He needs some momentum. He needs some minutes under his belt as he continues to build that fitness back up since his move from Shakhtar in January. As I said, played no football since November before he joined. He was very much kind of in a quote-unquote pre-season phase. He hasn't played 90 minutes for the club yet. Lampard is a big fan of Mudryk. We've all seen the training photos of Lampard speaking to Mudryk. There was a clip where he supposedly mentioned Hazard when speaking to Mudryk. He also tried to sign Mudryk for Everton when he was still at Shakhtar. They had a 30 million euros bid rejected for him. So he's a big fan of the player. And I think Lampard can get the best out of Mudryk, or certainly give him some more confidence, certainly bring his game on from what we've seen so far in the early stages of his career. So I'm going to say that Lampard's going to chuck Mudryk in on this left-hand side. I think I don't really know what's going to happen here. I suspect that Lampard will play Kai Havertz, and I think Havertz will play on this right-hand side here. I know he was poor last game, but he's done okay by his standards in recent weeks. So it is a tough one. It is a tough one. Shit. Yeah, this is really tricky to predict because he could easily go with Havertz, but he could also go with Pulisic there. Pulisic has played down the right hand side on a number of occasions. Felix will definitely play. He's also got the option that he could use Datro Fofana as well. I'd suspect that would be unlikely. I don't think Aubameyang starts purely because Aubameyang's not even that good. He's barely played any football. I think the last time Aubameyang played was off the bench against Spurs as well. He scored one Premier League goal for us. Yes, he's our only out-and-out centre forward, as it were, but let's not pretend like he's been amazing for the club and we just got some amazing player that we aren't using and it's like some sort of outrage that we're not using him. Yes, we've missed a lot of chances, but the majority of those chances are created through players' movement off the ball, etc., and their link-up play and things like that. All things that Aubameyang is not good at or doesn't have at this stage in his career. So I don't think I can understand wanting Aubameyang to potentially start because he's an out-and-out forward. But at the same time, I'm just thinking, do you know what? He's not really it anymore. Yes, an option from the bench with 15, 20 minutes to go. But as a start, no, I think not. But I don't think Lampard drops Havertz. But maybe, do you know what? I'm going to make a change here. I'm going to go Sterling. I'm going to go Sterling. Mudryk, Felix, Sterling as the front three. And that can rotate as well. So you could easily see Felix drop to that right-hand side and Sterling goes into the middle. I mean, even if this went to a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2, you could have kind of Felix operating in a 10 with twin strikers, with twin wide forwards of Mudryk and Sterling. So there's lots of options here, but Lampard does like wingers. He likes players with out and out pace. He likes genuine wide men. You know, he tried to sign Mudryk at Everton, as I said. He tried to sign Madueke in January as well. He likes using wide players. We used wide players when he was last here. We've signed a lot of wingers. We've got a lot of wingers in the squad. So we need to. Why would we use a system that doesn't utilize any of them? So for me, I think this is a team that Lampard picks tomorrow. Now, People can screenshot this. People can clip this up. People can do what they want with it. Let's see how close. Let's see how close this is. But I mean, I think I don't know. I think there's potential for me to have got a reasonable amount of this right. But at the same time, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. No, I agree on that. I do agree on that. But I don't know. I'm going to go Sterling, but I equally wouldn't be surprised at all if he started. Tired of Havertz, man. That guy's absolutely crap. Sterling, Felix should play. Yeah, Sterling and Felix should play along with Mudryk. That's what the front three should be, in my opinion. Havertz been given too many chances out of 50. Yeah, agreed. If we had Brozier, would you start him? I think if the way things have worked out this season, if Brozier hadn't been injured, I think he would have seen a lot of game time. I think he would have done. Excuse me. I think he would have done quite well. He certainly would have seen a lot more minutes than he may well have been expecting. But that is the lineup that I think Frank Lampard is going to pick tomorrow. I will post this on Twitter with this lineup, thinking this is what I'm going to be. Hold myself to account and see how many we get right. What I would say is that regardless of what I've picked here, and this is what I think Lampard's going to pick, I do think there'll definitely be one, maybe two, where you think I didn't see that coming, or what's the thinking behind that. I do think there could be an opportunity that maybe James plays at right centre back potentially. There is that possibility. I think there's a small chance that Mendy could play and go. I do think something tomorrow will be like, wow, that's a big call. There'll be at least one. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Everyone's saying it's going to be Mount, but I don't think Mount will start. And if he does start, then where does he play? He'd have to play in one of the wide positions. So let's see. But I think there will be a quote unquote shock, as it were. Havertz's got a mentality problem. He's trying too hard to be clever with chips and dinks and finesse. What he needs is pure power and accuracy. Yeah, maybe, but I don't think he's got those two things, to be honest. Well, certainly not on a consistent basis. That's for sure. But yeah, guys, that is my prediction on what Frank Lampard is going to pick. That is my prediction. So let's wait and see how close I am to getting that right. When the team news drops tomorrow, I don't know if there'll be any team news or not. Gallagher will play a part. Yeah, Gallagher will play a part. I just don't know. Gallagher's not a pivot player. We saw him. I was up at Leeds earlier in the season when we got battered 3-0 under Tuchel. Gallagher played in a pivot and it was an absolute disaster. Gallagher's not a pivot player. So the only way I can see Gallagher playing is if potentially we play a 3-man midfield, but then does he get one of the 8 positions instead of Enzo or Kante, unless we play Enzo as a 6, or he comes off the bench. I suspect he definitely comes off the bench for sure. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because there are suddenly a few more players that come into play now as potential options now that Lampard's here. But then again, a lot's changed since he was last here. So we'll just have to wait and see. We will just have to wait and see. But that's the lineup I've gone with. That's what I think Frank Lampard's going to pick. Ultimately, I think there's probably going to be quite a few wrong here. But I'm excited to see what the lineup is going to be, guys. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. Switch Mudryk and Felix. Yeah, look, again, this is a fluid front three. It can easily change. All three of them can rotate round, so that there's not a problem there. But Mudryk could start down the middle. There's every chance of that. Last away game, he had a good game at Leicester. He started down the middle. So let's wait and see. The likes of Craig Dawson at centre half not got the most pace, and maybe it could be something we look to do is get balls over the top and try and release Mudryk and his pace. If Mudryk does start, then we've got to get him involved in the game. Got to get more of the ball to him. Yes. So let's round this one out then, guys. I'll stop sharing that screen. Only one thing left to do then, guys. Guys in the chat as well, bang your score predictions in there as well. Keep smashing the likes on the stream, guys. Keep subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. That would be a massive help. Let's get this, guys. It's only on 16 likes. Let's get this to at least 20 likes. It's pretty poor effort on the likes. There's 24 of us still in here. Let's ramp those likes up to 20. So 4 more people need to hit that like button. So hit that like button, guys. Get it up to 20 likes. Really simple task. Let's just get that done now. No excuses. Let's bang those likes up. Get it to 20, guys. 18 now. Let's get a couple more likes in there. Bang the likes, guys. Keep going. Final 2 likes. Let's get this done. Score predictions then. Chelsea 1-0. I would 100% take that all day long. 2-0. Mate, I'm fully invested in these Mudryk stocks now. You know, met him last week at the team hotel. I'm fully on the Mudryk train. I will love it if Mudryk scores tomorrow. So let's hope we get that first Mudryk goal tomorrow. 2-0. Theo 2-1. Chile and Enzo. I mean, an Enzo first goal as well would be superb. I'd love that. Enzo and Mudryk on the score. Anyone on the score sheet would be great, but particularly Enzo or particularly Mudryk for their first goals for the club. 40 points tomorrow. 2-0 Chelsea. I think we can do it, but you know, in all my predictions, I've gone with 1-1. So I'm not going to flip flop. I think we can win, but ultimately, I think this game's got draw written all over it. I think the two sides will cancel each other out. Yes, we've got the quality to do it, but what Chelsea are we going to see? We just got absolutely no idea. So I'd like to think the players are going to have a bit of a lift and a bit of a boost, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and I have to hope that I will be proven wrong. But yeah, let's wait and see what happens on this one. But yeah, guys, seems like a good place to round this one out then. I can't believe I'm saying it. Tomorrow, Frank Lampard's Chelsea are in action. We're back. Lampard's back. No, we haven't gone back to 2020. This is a reality. This is what's happening at Chelsea right now. Super Frankie Lampard. Super Frank. Just getting in voice for tomorrow's game. The Super Frank chants are back. It's going to be great. It's going to be an absolute vibe in the away end. Let's see what happens. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy tomorrow. Let's hope Chelsea have got a positive result. I'll be back tomorrow with some more content, post-match stuff, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Keep smashing the likes on your way out. Let's try and get that to 30 likes or at least 25 if we can before rounding this one out. Let's get those likes up to 30, guys. Keep smashing the likes. If you've not hit the like button, please do hit that like button. 8 more likes to 30. Let's get it done. On your way out, 8 more of you can definitely hit that like button. There's still 22 of us in here, so make sure you smash the likes. Let's get it up to 30. 8 more likes, guys. 8 more to go. Send me on my way with a nice 30 likes. Let's get this one done. 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. Yes, 3 o'clock at Molineux. That is the time. Yes, MC, big up. Thanks a lot. EPL Turf, no problem at all, mate. Thanks for getting involved when I'm doing it solo. It makes it a lot easier having an active chat. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for getting your thoughts in the chat. 30 likes, guys. Keep smashing the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, guys. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers now, about 300 to go. So please keep hitting that subscribe button as well. It really helps me out more than you could ever imagine. I'm trying to hit 3K by the end of the season. So let's help me get there. But guys, let's round this one out here. Chelsea back in action tomorrow. Let's hope for a winning start for Frank Lampard. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great day tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with some post-match content. Until then, take care. Up the Chelsea. Super Frank's back.